And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski here on this Wednesday, where we're talking issues. We're talking a revolution happening on the continent, and who better to lead a revolution of this kind than two presidents of the Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, Dr. Agnes Kalibata, and the president of the Rockefeller Foundation, Dr. Judith Rodin. Two women committed to this continent, and I tell you, you guys, you feel it. Tweets are coming in thick and fast. By the way, Twitter handles are at Rockefeller FDN, as in Foundation, at AGRA Alliance, at AGRA Forum. The hashtag is AGRF 2016. You can also include me in the tweets at Koinange Jeff. Someone by the name of Governor 48 says, great debate, great potential for our continent. Agriculture is becoming sexy for us youth. Watch Africa rise. Kim Martha, you say, agriculture is no longer dirty, but how much you can make out of it.
It's great.
It's amazing. I mean, people are really interested in agriculture. And the more you all encourage them, the more we encourage them, I think the more they'll be into it. And realize, you don't need to be in a 9-to-5 job. You don't need to be an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor. Not all of us can be. You can be a great farmer, right? You agree?
Yeah. I mean, look, the people that were in that room today, presidents, think about any of them, at least the Africans that were there, are farmers. We did see an ex-CEO of Microsoft also, who is a farmer. So farming is a business. Our president here in Kenya is farming. Our president in Rwanda is farming. It's a huge business. It's an opportunity. I mean, just look at the opportunity here. We import $35 billion worth of food. What we consume is going to be about $1 trillion by 2030. It's a huge industry. It's a business. And what we are saying is our farmers do not have to live in subsistence. There's an opportunity here to make money. Yeah. Let's seize this moment. We know a few things. When we came in place as AGRA 10 years ago, there were less than 10 seed companies on this continent. Today we have over 100 seed companies. And the most important thing, all the multinational seed companies are fighting to be in Africa. They were not there then. Yeah. We know what seeds we need to be growing in different environments. It wasn't like that then. We see people, you saw that today. People are fighting to establish businesses of fertilizers on the continent. Banks are standing up to lend 10%. So this is not a story we're having, a conversation we were having 10 years ago. Yeah. Everybody was like, there's real estate, there's whatever, don't tell me about agriculture.
10 years ago when we started, we wanted to create a group of agro dealers, people who could be trained to help the smallholder farmer learn about drought-resistant seeds, better yields, better use of fertilizer and the like. We recruited women who were selling soda and crackers on roadside stands throughout rural Africa, who were subsistence farmers, and then to make a little extra money were selling by the road. We trained them in a 6-week program, and now there are 38,000 agro dealers across the continent, most of them women, wonderful women who are employing other people, men and women and young people in their communities. Another kind of business that arose during this decade that's helping everybody understand that agriculture is a productive business, even if you're not doing the farming, that there is every piece of the value chain and you can enter in any piece. Hopefully not the lawyers. We don't want people suing each other.
Not yet. That's a great point you made, Doc, because there's this new term that's just come out, you've all coined, called agribusiness. This is the future. I mean, the value chain, all along, there's money to be made, right?
All the way from building seed businesses, whether it is the small mom and pop shop that in the village where you buy Coca-Cola, this time you can actually go and buy seeds and fertilizers. That's a business where we can actually employ the youth that we are talking about. Whether it's going to the land and producing 5 tons of maize as opposed to half a ton that you are producing and not even feeding your family. Whether it is growing, taking that to the market and selling it for a good value, and diversifying into other things. You talked about this farmer who owns hundreds of, 80 cows
80
on a
cows
small
on half
piece
an
of
acre.
land. Exactly. This is diversification into higher income yielding businesses. So there's a lot of opportunity that is happening. For me, my biggest frustration is that we don't see the impact that agriculture has on our economy. We don't see the multiplier effect agriculture has on our economy. And we just let it be. And every day we lose is an opportunity lost for this continent.
Absolutely. Dr. Rodin, do you see the commitment from the leadership of this continent? I mean, 10 years ago, the continent looked a lot different. The landscape was very different. Do you see a commitment now? Do you see presidents leading from the front, industry leaders leading from the front?
I see a change in the way they're making those commitments. Rockefeller was the funder of the Abuja Summit, and we saw all of those commitments then. That was 11 or 12 years ago. What's really different now is that they're talking about scorecards, about monitoring themselves, about reporting to one another. I mean, this is kind of unheard of on other continents, I must confess. So I was stunned sitting in the room today, hearing presidents make that kind of commitment. And so that is really leading from the front, if that's going to happen.
Yeah. We talk about PPPs, Doctor.
Yes.
Public-private partnerships. Is that happening? Is private sector willing to partner with government and make this thing happen, make this revolution happen? Do you see that?
The AGRF itself is a collection of partners, public-private, that said there's an opportunity here, but we want to be able to do it unless we can meet and discuss the challenges we are having and look at the opportunities. We look at policies that need to move the private sector. President Kagame again said today, we as public institutions have a lot to do to ensure that the right framework is in place for the private sector to work. So the private sector has money, has a lot of goodwill, has a lot of good sense to use to make money, but they won't do it if the environment is not conducive enough. They won't do it if the environment is suffocating the ability to make money. So it's a win-win. Public-private partnerships are about win-win.
Yeah.
So it's our role as public institutions to ensure that the right policies are working for the private sector. They are looking for money, but they grow businesses and they sustain businesses in ways we as public institutions can't. So again, the reason we put emphasis on public-private partnerships, we can work together and deliver this. We have a number of partnerships that are going to be launched in this AGRF. There's the potato partnership that looks at the potato value chain all the way from Rwanda to Uganda to Kenya. We have an amazing ability to produce potatoes in these three countries. But you know what? Every hotel in Kenya, in Uganda, in Rwanda, and the rest of the continent, probably except Egypt and South Africa, imports the potato chips that you eat in a hotel. Imports. And our farmers don't know where to put the potatoes when they produce them. It's a shame.
That's what you were talking
Yes.
about. There's a wastage, there's a disconnect, from the field to the end product. There's a disconnect.
So a piece of it is to get better on farm storage, depending on the crop, hermetically sealed bags or on-farm processing. But a bigger piece of it is to develop or expand the markets. Think about Kenya for a moment and mango. We know that for a long time, mango trees were on most people's gardens or homes, and they didn't think of it as a crop. They were growing something else. We brought in Coca-Cola, and they needed mango juice for one of their products. They set up a processing plant, several now in Kenya, and suddenly smallholder farmers are becoming mango entrepreneurs. They're buying drying machines and sharing some of the produce so that they now are selling wonderful, unpreserved, without sugar, dried mango in the local markets. I met a young woman today who said her business has taken off so much, she's making a real play to export to the United States and Europe.
Wow.
So creating that value chain where The middle markets work more effectively. The multinationals can source more reliably, allows the farmer to reduce considerably the waste and spoilage, whether it's cassava or potato or tomato or maize or in this case mango.
Yeah.
So many, many crops in which that value chain really works by creating these partnerships.
Yeah, and those imports you talked about, Dr. Kalibata, you talked about 40 billion US a year in imports. Are we going to counter that at some point? Can we?
It's not impossible. It's not difficult. There are a number of things we got to do. We start and then stop for some reason. I don't know what goes wrong. But some of these are potato chips. Some of these are spaghetti.
Yeah.
Some of these are cornflakes. I mean, some of these things that we can make in our backyards. Unbelievable. But we don't do that because of a number of issues. The financing we talked about, there needs to be sources of affordable financing for people to run businesses. The fact that our markets are not structured enough for farmers to be able to be part of the consistent value chain. The fact that we probably don't have policies in some of these areas that facilitate businesses to exist consistently. So there are a number of things that we can do. But also there's something else. We really need to consume what we produce. I mean, we produce lots of rice here, but we also eat lots of rice from somewhere else. And the question for me is our rice that bad? You know?
It's a good point.
I mean, at least Kenya is consuming its milk. Many other places, people don't even consume the milk their farmers produce.
Yeah.
And every time we don't do that, every time you buy a kilo of rice, like President Kanayo said this evening, you're employing someone else. You're employing another youth. And our youth are busy struggling to find jobs across seas instead of trying to produce rice and sell rice because there's a market.
Dr. Rodin, that's a mindset. That's a mindset we're going to have to change going forward, isn't it?
Well,
not relying on imports and not thinking that imports are better than...
Well, that's the mindset to change. That somehow there's become a cachet that if it's imported, it's better, it's more sophisticated, it's more flavorful. I will tell you, after tasting the dried mangoes from the producers around Nairobi, I will never buy a dried mango in the United States again because it's loaded with sugar and preservatives. So we really do have to change the narrative, which is a correct one, to the fact that our local produce, that which we consume, that which we grow, that which we market, is something to really be proud of. We have amazing soil, we have amazing sunlight and weather. It's no wonder it's terrific. And so let's celebrate it.
Yeah.
Let's make eating our own food sexy.
Exactly. And you can help us with that.
Yes.
You have a fantastic talk show. Can you just take a few moments each time and talk about how sexy it would be to eat food that's grown by your own mother or a mother of your friend?
Yeah.
It would be fantastic. Just think about it.
Good old home cooking.
Or yourself.
There you go.
Or yourself.
Good old home cooking, right?
Exactly.
Right. Now you're putting the pressure on me. Is that what you're doing, doctor?
Exactly.
I can take it, you know that. But it's a great idea, and I think we should do that. I mean, for too long, you know, all it takes is a couple of sessions of this, and the kids will listen.
Right.
The kids, the youth will listen.
Do you know how in Brazil we continue talking about the Brazil success story? Part of their success is they turned their school feeding into a program that purchased from smallholder farmers. Completely, they made sure that smallholder farmers were feeding schools. But it had to be very well organized. There had to be a system that allows something like that to happen. Here, we don't do that. We don't do that. We need to feed children to reduce the malnutrition we are seeing, but we also are importing lots of stuff probably that we are feeding children too. So we could create situations like that, just like the creativity that we are seeing around patient procurement, where you're saying, you know what, guys? Patient procurement, by the way, does not procure patients.
Right. It's such a funny term.
It does not procure patients.
Okay, thank you.
It's just about the patience around allowing farmers to produce, bringing partners together, bringing bulk around the farmer and procuring that so that we create value around farmers.
There are also other ways. In many of our best supermarkets in the United States now, they tag that which was grown locally. And people love it. They want to support their local farmers.
Yeah.
It's become a movement. Our fresh air markets are so beautiful. They're called farmers markets.
markets,
There's
yeah.
a source of pride,
Yeah.
not things that feel dirty and they have to quickly run into. And so elevating the look and the feel will be an important part of it. The flavor's there.
Yeah. It brings me to a point. People buy stuff at supermarkets here. A vegetable that's been sitting there for 2 weeks,
Right.
and it still looks fresh as ever. But it's loaded with a whole bunch of stuff. Right? And that's going to destroy you inside too. It's going to lead to other lifestyle diseases, if you will. Folks, I want to take a break, come back, ask you each, what's the one thing that's going to drive this revolution forward? I know we're underway. Everyone says, yes, that a revolution is underway, but what's the one thing? Is it better seed? Is it better farming methods? Is it, what's the one thing? Think about that, okay? As we go into break. Also, you've announced recently you resigned from the Rockefeller Foundation.
No, well, I'm still running the Rockefeller Foundation, but I've announced that I intend to retire and that they should look for a successor.
Why?
And 12 years, 10 years as president of Penn before that. I will have been a CEO for 22 years.
Is someone promising you a job somewhere?
No, not at all. And
Come
I'm
on.
going to get up every day and run the Rockefeller Foundation until someone new comes in.
What if Hillary Clinton becomes president and she calls on you?
Well, we don't know yet. The American election is so crazy, but I'm committed to what I'm doing at the moment.
Still 90 days or so?
Still about 90 days,
Still a
yeah.
lot of time.
But we could say that, she thought about it on this show when we look back in January. Right? And what about you, Dr. Kalibata? How long are you there now?
At Agra?
Yeah, because Strive Masiwe said today that they came to Rwanda and they convinced your president, Kagame, to loan you for a while.
I'm also on the board, so she has to be careful how she answers.
How long is this loan?
No, I was just going to say that I just started. And for me, the whole game around African agriculture is just starting.
So you're in the front end.
I'm not done until it's done.
But President Kagame misses you.
Well, he said that, but
Luckily, he's right next door.
he's right next to
Let's take a break. Keep tweeting at Rockefeller FDN, at Agra Alliance, at Agra Forum, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag AGRF 2016. 2 presidents, 1 bench. I gotta use this. Watch out.
Okay.
you are crazy.
1 fire extinguisher. Chef Koinange live at the Villa Rosa Kempinski takes a break. I can't believe I did
my
that.
team.
I can't believe I did that. I'm sorry. My bad. Back
No,
in a
I'm
moment.
glad you warned me.